Blackstone's brand new Iron Forge Griddle with the Omnivore Griddle top. The Omnivore Griddle top claims that it has more even heat distribution, it can achieve higher temperatures, and that it has built-in wind guards that will help protect the shelves from getting too hot. So we're going to put this to the test. We're going to do the white bread test, where we're going to cover this griddle top with white bread, see how the heat distributes as it toasts that bread. We're going to put the Omnivore Griddle up against this Blackstone Pro Series 28-inch XL griddle top. Now I know that the test will not be completely even because this is a 3-burner 28-inch XL versus a 4-burner 36-inch, but we should still see a difference in the heat distribution and a difference in the how hot it gets and how it toasts the bread. Now we're going to start with the 28-inch XL on my Pro Series model here. We're going to just go ahead and cover this entire griddle top with white bread. The idea behind this test is we get the griddle top covered in white bread, then we evenly distribute it across the griddle top as best we can. You'll see that this griddle top doesn't quite fit full slices of bread across, so I did have to make some adjustments to make it fit. And we're starting this test with a cold griddle, so we're putting the bread on a cold griddle, and then we turn the griddle on to high and let it just slowly heat up for about 10 minutes. In that 10 minutes time, the griddle top should start to get hot and it should start to toast this bread. After 10 minutes, we'll turn the griddle top off, and then we can flip the pieces and see how they turned out. Okay, so you can definitely see where the hot spot is on this griddle. So it definitely is much hotter right up here in the middle near the top portion of the griddle plate. Down here, while these feel like they're just starting to toast, there's absolutely no color on them. And then these near the edge, absolutely no color on them either. And then you have these that have a little bit of color but not very much. So it just makes you think, when it comes to heating, here you've got a griddle that's got, it's the 28-inch XL, but really if you're looking to like sear a burger, or if you're looking to sear a steak or something, you're really only going to get to that top temperature where you need to do that right here in the middle. So like if you put a burger down here, it's just not going to get the sear on it that you want. Okay, it's not going to cook. So we could definitely see a hot spot right here in the middle of this griddle. Now let's look at the Omnivore. Now for the Omnivore, we're going to do the exact same thing. We're starting with a completely cold griddle. We're going to lay out some white bread across the top here. You can already tell this is a 36-inch, so it's going to take a little bit more bread, but we should still be able to see a difference as far as where the hot spots are and how the heat distributes, even though the size is a little different. So once we get all the bread on, and this one covers a little more easily because of the size of the griddle itself, we're going to turn the heat on high, let it heat up for 10 minutes, and then turn it off again. Then we're just going to flip that bread over, and we should be able to see where our hot spots are. Okay, so after 10 minutes on both griddles, you could definitely see a difference in the surface area of the heat distribution. So a couple things I noticed about this Omnivore griddle plate. Number one, all the way to the edge started to toast. So there's definitely heat distributing all the way to the edge of the griddle. Okay, so I granted this like inch or so that would have been up against the side of the griddle. Wasn't quite there yet, but maybe if I let it heat up a little longer, it may have gotten there. But really, that's so much different than the other side, or than the other griddle plate, which had like 2 rows of toast that hadn't started to toast yet, right? So you could definitely see it goes closer to the edge with the heat distribution. I also want you to notice how much hotter it gets. So both griddles set to high for 10 minutes, starting from a completely cool griddle, no heat at all. Turn it on, fired it up, set to high, let it go for 10 minutes with the bread already on it. So you can see after 10 minutes, much hotter here in the middle. And just as a comparison, this was the most toasted piece from the other griddle. And it's not even a comparison compared to one of these here in the middle here, right? You can see how much lighter it is. So there was much less heat going on in this other griddle, and it just wasn't distributing quite as much. So there's definitely a difference to be said for the Omnivore griddle plate, where they advertise that the heat distributes more evenly across the entire griddle, that it does come to temperature faster, that it does get hotter, that, you know, all of those things seem to work really well. And I could tell you, just like the advertising of the built-in wind guards where it protects the shelving from heat, I can tell you this shelf right here, with this griddle being on high, is not hot at all. So what normally would happen is if I put a bottle right here on the shelf, it would melt because it got so hot, or I couldn't even touch this surface because it'd be so hot. And I can tell you that this is not even hardly hot at all. I don't have any problem touching it with this being on high for 10 minutes. So what are your thoughts on this test? Do you think this is an accurate representation of each of these griddles? Do you think this proves the claims of the Omnivore griddle top compared to the old griddle tops that Blackstone made? I'd love to hear your thoughts. Put them in the comments. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.